Welcome back. Ready to throw your boomerang kit out of your basement? Well, paying off those staggering student loans won't keep your adult children from returning home, apparently. A new study finds so-called boomerangers had less student debt than young adults who did not return home. But those without college degrees are 40% more likely to crash with their parents. I want to bring in the CEO and founder of Gradifi, Tim DeMello. Tim, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, Maria. How are you?
What do you make of this?
Well, I mean, the student loan problem is a massive problem, obviously. And, you have a lot of people graduating with debt. 75% of the graduates now graduate with debt. So it's a really big problem. And what really is starting to happen is you're just seeing people just trying to make everything work, from paying $400, $600, $800 a month in student loans and then trying to afford housing. It's nearly impossible.
Yeah, I mean, the House is set to vote on tax reform, and it could change the way families save for education. There's a provision in the bill that allows families to use up to $10,000 annually from 529 college savings plans to fund private education from kindergarten through high school. It would also allow families to start saving the money before their children are born. What's your take on this in the tax plan?
Yeah, I mean, with Gradifi, we launched a pay-down program last year so employers make money contributions to student loan accounts. And then this morning we announced a Save Up program, which allows employers to help with 529 contributions to accounts. So I think anything that can really help, and what we're really focused on is a workplace solution. I think what 401k showed everyone was when you have something at work where you can contribute a certain amount of money every month, you really can start to make an impact.
Tim, are you seeing any change in the decisions that people are making about where to go to school, given the debt loads that they're carrying coming out of the big private universities? Are you seeing changes in behavior among your clientele?
Yeah, I think that what's really happening is there's a lot more conversation going on around the kitchen table, right? Because you now have a significant investment that's going to be made on behalf of the child who maybe takes on that debt, but also the parents who are participating in that. So, you really hate to think about return on investment on a degree in hard terms, but you really need to now. You really need to think, what about that particular degree and where you go to school? So it's a big decision that needs to be sort of brought up front and not just, all of a sudden assumed when somebody graduates and has a lot of student debt.
So, Tim, Steve Cortez here. Let me ask you more about that, though, and drill down a bit if we could, because most people, I think, do view it as a return on investment kind of decision. It's not just about improving the life of the mind. It's about preparing myself to get a good job. And yet I think we see that a lot of folks, particularly given their major, if they major in something liberal arts, for instance, it may not be directly something they can monetize after graduating. So my question really is, are we sending perhaps and encouraging too many kids to go to college when they'd be better off in apprentice programs, better off in vocational training, or simply going to work?
I think what the whole discussion around the cost of college and the investment in college, which we probably didn't look at it as much 10 to 15 years ago in that way, really is just having important conversations happening when your child is 16, 17, 18 years old. So in making those decisions, whether you go to technical school, a liberal arts degree, I think people really do have to have those conversations, and they're not always easy conversations. But yeah, just the expanding of the mind is not really cutting it anymore. And, that's just the way things are.
Yeah, changing economy for sure. Tim, thanks so much. Good to see you, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Tim DeMello joining us there.